In today's video, we're going to talk about Munna Duke. We're going to break down a few of his early cases and how Chicago PD labeled him one of the leaders of Oblock. Munna Duke, whose real name is Rashawn Vance, would pass away at the age of 31. He would pretty much be in and out of jail his whole adult life, pretty much for a bunch of petty charges and a few firearm charges, with his most recent charge in 2024 being the most serious one. As you can see right here, he would be charged for armed habitual criminal and having a firearm with a laser and a silencer on it, and then 2 counts of battery. And as you can see right here, the arrest location would be Oblock. And then as you can see, he would be arrested on February 19th of 2024, which is crazy because that's a month after the FBG Duck trial. And as you can see right here, during the trial, they would label Munna Duke as the Oblock leader. And as you can see, the trial ended in January of 2024. But during the trial, an Oblock member told prosecutors under oath that Duke was a small group of men who led Oblock, and they even identified him as individual B in court documents and pictures. They would play videos like this in court. Just listen close to the lyrics.
I don't give a fuck, niggas play crazy, do his ass like duck. I don't give a fuck, niggas play crazy, do his ass like duck.
And as you heard right there, they would disrespect FBG Duck. And if you didn't notice, the person to the right would be Muop, one of the Oblock members that got charged with FBG Duck's murder. But now we're gonna dive back into Munna Duke's murder and how allegedly Oblock Youngin lived on the same block as Pork Chop. We're also gonna break down how the killers drove over an hour to dispose of the evidence. As we all know, 3 Oblock members were shot, and Munna Duke and Oblock Youngin would pass away. But as we were doing some research, we came across this article right here. And as you can see, it says the 28-year-old man has been identified as Darrell Given, who lived in the 6300 block of North Broadway, according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. And then it says they were shot on the sidewalk after leaving Pork Chop. But if Oblock Youngin lived on that block, it makes sense why they were out there so late. The shooters would get away in a stolen Infiniti Q50, which the cops would find on fire on the 600 block of East 134th Place. And what's eerie about this situation, and kind of trippy, is when you look up the 600 block of East 134th Place, you can see the only street that goes through it is St. Lawrence Avenue. As you can see, it would be big open fields and wooded areas. And on the other side, it would connect to the river. But as you can see right here, the intersection would be South St. Lawrence Avenue. I don't know if the shooters were trying to send a message, or it's just ironic how things played out. But either way, it's kind of creepy. And for those of you that don't know, FBG Duck is from St. Lawrence. That would be the STL EBT crew out of 63rd. But I feel like the shooters purposely picked that spot, 1, because it's secluded, and 2, because what are the coincidence and how ironic is it that the intersection is St. Lawrence? And as you can see, it says South St. Lawrence. This street wouldn't be connected to St. Lawrence, the one that's in Southside Chicago. This would be more further south in a different part of Chicago. And as you can see right here, they would drive over an hour to the small neighborhood in Chicago. And another crazy twist to this whole story, this would be about the pistol case we were talking about in the beginning, when he got caught with the silencer and the laser. And as you can see right here, it says Munna Duke, who won a major legal victory just 1 month ago when prosecutors decided to drop a Class X armed habitual case. And even though it says major victory, don't forget that prosecutors dropping a charge is different than you beating a charge. It's unclear why they decided to drop the charge, but as you can see right there, it says he's been identified by local and federal law enforcement agents that he's one of the highest ranking members of Oblock Street Gang. But prosecutors can drop a charge if they feel like it might not stick, and they can also drop the charge when the FBI is going to come in and do a sweep or a RICO, because you can't be charged twice for the same crime. So a lot of times when the feds is coming in, the DA will decide to drop a case so that way the feds can pick it up. And don't let it go over your head that they mentioned that local and federal law enforcement agencies knew that he was one of the highest ranking members of Oblock. So it kind of makes you wonder if Oblock had an indictment or a RICO coming soon. Because how would the feds know the hierarchy or the pecking order or who's calling the shots in Oblock if they're not doing an investigation themselves into Oblock? And maybe that's why they really dropped this charge. But who knows? But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Subscribe, comment, and like. I appreciate y'all. It's Respectable Rants.